In today's tutorial, let's do the cable twist hat together. This is a really fabulous hat, and if you like cable work and you like crochet, this is the hat for you. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. In today's tutorial we're going to do the cable twist hat just like you see here. What an amazing hat this is. Cables are high in demand and I think that this hat is going to be extremely popular once this video gets out. Now this is not a hard pattern to follow. In today's tutorial I'm going to break it down into the steps. We're going to go slowly step by step so that you can be having great success in making this hat. In making today's hat, you're going to notice that there is a set of twisting cables and then there is a set of front post double crochets and then there's a gap. You kind of can see a gapping space in between, and then another set of front post double crochets and then a gap space and then more cables and etc. So once we get to the cable area, it's in multiples of 12, and what we're having here is that there's basically 12 stitches from one repeat pattern to the next. So what I've done is that I've created a crochet diagram, and I'm going to put this diagram on my website and you can access that if you'd like to print that off to help you. So here's my crochet diagram just like you see it, and we're gonna start off in the beginning right down here. This says row number 1. All the row counts are on the sides here. This is not the entire hat because there are repeat patterns going on, and what we're going to start off with is row number 1 and then move to row number 2, and it says here repeat 3 times, which we'll cover in today's tutorial. And basically you can see that the posts are all working out, and you can kind of see how things are gonna line up as it goes throughout the hat. Once we get beyond this around here, this is where the cabling starts up here, so we have to prepare it, and then you can see that the cables then begin. So the cables on this hat do not start right away. There is a space before they start, and that's what you're looking at here in the diagram. So that's gonna start up and then the cables are gonna then start here, and then we keep repeating rows 2 to 5 in the cable area in order to continue up right to where you need to be, closer to the top of the hat. And then once we get to the top of the hat, we then have the whole process of starting to reduce down stitches in order to have it come together. So what you're going to see here in the diagram, this says number 4. So when you follow these instructions and you read the information, you have to finish on row or round number 4 of this instruction. So before you do the final, like you see here, this is number 5. And what we have here is that once we get to that part, then what we need to do is then we start up. So this is actually already here. So this is, you have to finish on row 4 or round 4 here, and then this is showing what round 4 looks like, and then it shows you from 1 all the way to 10. And you can see that we start skipping stitches and we start bringing things together so that we can have this completely narrowed down at the top of the hat just like so. So without further ado, let's just quickly talk about the yarn, the hook, and more. So for today's project you're going to need a 5mm size H, and then we're gonna use 1 ball of Caron Simply Soft today, and that's what you're going to need. So let's begin and start off with instruction number 1. So let's begin and create a slip knot, and I'm just going to create that on my hands. We have slower tutorials for those that are beginning to crochet, and slip knotting is one of them. So we're gonna put it on the hook. Remember, the slip knot never counts as 1. This is for an average size woman, and we're going to chain 72. Remember, as I just said, this does not count as 1. So you just roll back and let's just chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go all the way to 72 for me, and then I'll meet you back here in just a moment. So I now have my 72 on my hook, and what I want to do is just stretch out this chain and make sure it's not twisting. So just untwist it just very carefully as you go. It makes a difference because this is gonna be the brim of the hat that's right above your forehead, and if there's anything weird going on, it's right across in front of your face. So just get it to the very last chain just like so, taking the yarn strand then from the yarn ball and just pull it through, and then that makes a generous circle like this. So let's begin round number 1. In this entire project you're going to notice chain 2 is at the beginning of virtually everything, and it does not count as a stitch here and throughout. Okay, so whenever we chain 2 in this project you do not ever want to count it as 1 stitch. So we're going to chain 2, and we're going to immediately then just double crochet into the chain. So just turn the chain upside down and just get the back loop of the chain or the back hump and just double crochet. Once you get the first one in, the rest of them the chain stays turned over, and then it's just very easy to access. And all you're just gonna do is in every chain you're just going to do a double crochet. Of course, you know, working with the chain is always kind of fiddly, So just take your time with it, and you want to do a nice job and just put 1 double crochet into each one of the chains going across. So I'm coming up all the way back around. I want to make sure I get into each one. You should have a total of 72 double crochets as you've gone all the way around, and once you get back to the very start, then I want you to just join it to the top. What does it say here? Join with the slip stitch to the first double crochet. So remember what we had here is that we had chain 2, so we're going to go right to the first double crochet. Okay, so when you go to do that, make sure that you do not twist or do anything weird with this. We've got to make sure it's nice and flat like a belt or a fan belt that you would have in a car, and then that will carry on. So let's move on. I'm gonna show you a picture, and then we're gonna carry on. In the next part of this tutorial, what we're going to do is that you can see that there's ridges. Okay, and these are all front post double crochets that you can see, but we're going to start off with doing back post double crochets as well in this section right in the very beginning, and then as soon as that's done and we get above into this area, then we don't worry about the back post double crochet. So it's only in the beginning, and you're going to notice when you see this is that you got front post double crochets 2, and then there's a space, and that's the back post double crochet, and then 2 in front, and then space, and 2 in front. But you see where it's following up here in the cable area. So when the cable is being started here, you can see that there's a gapping space, which is the back post double crochet right directly in the center of that. And starting this is actually really easy as long as you maintain the pattern, and just like so. So let's begin to do this part. So round 1 is very easy. We're just gonna start off by chaining 2. Remember, that does not count as a stitch, it's more of a builder. And so we're gonna start on the very first one. So this is the chain 2 that you see underneath. Okay, so we're starting right with this one first, and the first 2 are going to be front post double crochet. So you wrap the hook coming into the side of the post, pop it out the other side, wrap the hook and pull through, and then yarn over and yarn over, and then do that and again in the next one. So front post double crochet. So there's going to be 2 that are in the front, and the next one will be in the back. So you wrap the hook, and this time come from the behind through the post, pop it back out, back to behind, and then just double crochet as normal. Okay, so the repeat pattern on this whole round is very easy. So the next 2 is going to be front post double crochet, and the next one is back post double crochet. You get that? And so this whole round is that simple. It's just a matter of alternating between the 2. So the next 2 is front post double crochet for 2, and then the next one is a back post double crochet. Please do that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. So I'm coming up all the way back around. I'm going to end with a back post double crochet if you're doing all your stitch counts right. So you have 2 front post double crochet and then a back post. So then you're just going to join it to the top of the first front post double crochet, and that concludes off this round. So you're going to see that it looks pretty cool right now, and the next round is going to be a repeat round for several more rounds, and let's show you how to do that. So let's move on to round number 3. So round number 3 of the brim, I'm going to show you how to get started. So we're just going to chain 2, and we just need to match exactly what you see. So see, these are front post double crochet. Well, this is going to be front post double crochet this time around, and so is the next one. And the next one is a back post double crochet, so you're going to make that and continue to be a back post double crochet. So for this round plus 3 more rounds, so this is, you're going to do this a total of 4 times, that you're going to do exactly the same thing. Okay, so the next 2 are front post double crochet, so just match them and put the same thing above, and the next one is back post. So please do this for this round, which is round number 3, plus continue to do it another 3 times after that, and when I come back I'm gonna have that done, and then I'm gonna show you how to move on, and we're gonna prepare to get ready for the cables then. Okay, let's do that next. So while you're getting all these first rounds done, I have to do a total of 4 of this same round. Don't forget that when you come back all the way around on each one of these, you still have to just join it to the top of the first front post double crochet. Okay, and then you chain up 2 again, 1 and 2, and then just restart again, just grabbing with the front post again. Okay, so that's just a quick tip to make sure you don't forget to do that every time you go around. So I'm just finishing the section there of repeating all the rounds that I needed to, and we're going to start then getting prepared for the cable next, and we're just finishing this off, and let's slip stitch it to the top of the beginning front post double crochet. Let's go back to the pattern and let me show you some more tips. In the next part of this tutorial, what we're going to do is that we've done this whole section that you see here, and now we're going to start preparing for the cables, but we actually have a missing stitch at this time and we need to expand our stitch, and let me show you on the diagram that I've done what's going to be happening next. So here we have the diagram again, and what is really key here is that you should notice that, see this cabling that you see here, see how close it is to the slip stitching? This is the slip stitch line all the way up, and look the difference between where this cable is sitting compared to the slip stitch and where the next cable starts. So I would have thought in this particular hat, which is confusing me, which prompted me to do the diagram, that the slip stitching would be directly in the center of one of these. Okay, do you see this? So you have a cable here, and then you have two sets of front post double crochet with a center line, and that's where I thought it would have been, but it's not on this particular pattern. So what we have to worry about in this one is that round that we're about to do is that we're going to start off and we need to count over and look at this thing as in groups of 2. So 2 front post double crochet, 2 front post double crochet, 2 front post double crochet. And what is going on here? Well, after the third group of 2, this one here, you need to put 2 in there, and what this will do is it'll add an extra stitch here because all the cabling at this time is in sets of 6. But right now when you look at this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so they have you add an additional one right in the middle. So after you get the first group of 3, so best pass the first group of 3, so 1, 2, and 3. Okay, after that it's then 4 in between this one and all the rest of them. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then there's a double again, and then after that it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then a double again. And if you can look at it like this, you can save yourself a lot of time instead of having to really count stitches when you can identify. Once you get this done and once you get the next one done, this pattern is so easy to maintain. I think this is probably the hardest round of them all. So let's begin the next round. Now in the pattern it says next round after you have all these 3 done. So we're going to chain 2 to begin. So at this time we are no longer doing any more back post double crochet. That's it, we're done. And so what you have to do at this point is every time there's a back post double crochet, you have to put in a half double crochet, but in the ones that are in the groups, so we said 1, 2, and 3, so the one right here, there will be 2 front post double crochets added to that one. So let's just slowly go by this pattern right now and just let's hook along and get you done this round. So let's begin. So I've already chained 2, and the first 2 are going to be front post double crochet, so we're going to maintain that, and we're no longer doing back post anymore. So the next one is just a straight half double crochet. So wrap the hook and into the stitch and just half double crochet it. Now the next one is going to be 2 front post double crochets again. So this is 2 of the 3 groups. Remember what I just explained. The next one is another half double crochet, and then this one is the third one of the 2 groups, of the groups of 2, and those are 2 are front post double crochet. So here's the middle of the cable here. So this time what you need to do is that you need to go in and convert this into a front post double crochet and do that twice into the same one. So you're making an extra stitch there. And now as I told you is that the next group of 4, the next one is going to be right where my finger is. So if you look at these in groups of 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, the ones right after the 4th is the next middle one of the next cable. So let's get ourselves there just to prove that to you. So the next ones are going to be front post double crochet. The next one is a half double. So we're no longer doing back posts. The next one is front post double crochet. The next one is a half double, and the next one is front post double crochet, and the next one is half double. And I do want to verify, so where am I here? So you can see where I put in my 2 here. So 1, 2, 3, here's the 4th, which I kind of actually already knew, but I wanted just to count that out just to show you. And so we can say then the 4th one is now done. So this is the middle of the next cable. So we're going to come in and convert this into 2 front post double crochets into the same one. So continue to do that. So just look for your groups of 4. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So your next one then will be right in the middle after the 4th one. So please do that all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and my last cable before I get the slip stitch is right before I get to the slip stitch. So just make sure that you are keeping your counts accurate, and for myself it worked out pretty good. This was the hardest round for me during practice in order to maintain it. The last one is a half double crochet then instead of a back post double crochet, and just join it to the top of the first front post double crochet. So you're gonna be able to look here, and you're going to notice that, see here, you just added 2, so it's kind of breaking off, so it's getting rid of the lines that you can kind of see the indentation. Okay, and you'll see that coming up all the way around. Let's move on to your next round, and the next round is going to be a fun round because the cabling is about to start. So we're about to start the cabling in the next round, and there are 5 rounds that involve a cable in order to get the repeat pattern, and the repeat pattern shows from about here to here, and then it repeats from here to here, as you can see. Okay, so the whole point of this whole thing is that we have to just really be careful. Now the first part of round number 1 is a real pain. I'm not even going to deny that to you, but you only have to do that once out of the 5 rounds, because 2, 3, 4 and 5 are all the same, and then you do it again round number 1. So the advantage to this is that, yeah, it's a pain for 1 round, but then there's 4 of the rounds that it's like a mini holiday. So it's not really that big of a deal, and it only happens in this section here, so you have all this in between that you don't have to even worry about. So let's move on and let's start doing the cabling. It's really quite easy. It's just a matter of being able to wrap your mind around it. So I'm coming back to my diagram, and we have just finished this round here. You see how we made the ones in the middle turn into 2, and you saw that here as well and in here. So now this is round number 1, and then this round here right in the middle, right, is round number 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then you have a number 1 here, which is what you already know. Okay, so this one here, you just got to watch this right here. So we're going to be extending over, so we're going to be maintaining a portion of these ridges going up, and then right where the ones where we did the expansion is where the cables are going to show up going all the way up this hat. Okay, so let's worry about that, and it's just a matter of understanding. Once you get this pattern established, it's amazing, and it's really quick to work up then from that point. So let's begin really doing the cable next. To begin doing the cabling, what we have to look for is that the first 2 sets are going to be left alone, and you're going to keep that going all the way up, and the one that where we added right in the middle, these 6 are going to be your cables. Okay, so in between, just like you see here, is that the next 2 will be left alone, and then the ones with the one right in the middle are going to be cables. So let's begin. We're going to start off by chaining 2, and we're going to be maintaining a portion of this plus doing the cable work once we get to the cable area right in here. Okay, right where you've seen the 2. So let's do the first 2 first. So the first 2 are going to be front post double crochet. In between is going to be a half double crochet, so we're no longer doing back posts anymore, and then the next 2 are going to be front post double crochet. Now the cable, what separates this is another half double crochet, and then we start doing the cabling. So how the cabling is going to work is that we are going to extend over to the 4th stitch way over here, and we're going to keep going over there, and then to the next one, and then to the next one, and then we're going to come back and capture the ones that we have skipped. And let's just quickly review that in just a moment. To do the crisscrossing, all we just have to do is we wrap the hook for a double crochet, and we're going to come into the front post only, so we're going to skip the first 3, so 1, 2 and 3, go to the 4th front post and just double crochet that as normal, and then wrap the hook again and go to its buddy, the next one, and it's a front post double crochet, so it's all working on an angle, and then finally do it again. Okay, so you have the 3 over here. So now we have the 3 that you have skipped over here, and all you just have to do is wrap the hook and come backward and just go into the side of the front post of the first one that was skipped, just like that. Then you do it again. Okay, so you come to the next one of the 3. So there's 3 sitting there, and you just wrap the hook and come into its buddy right next to it, and then finally you come into the 3rd one, like so. So what you have here is that you had the stitches in behind are leaning this way, and now the stitches in the forward are leaning that way. So what we're going to do then is that we're going to maintain the pattern once again. So the next one is a half double crochet, and the next 2 sets are going to be left alone. So we're going to just maintain that. So we're just front post double crochet for the next 2. Half double for the next one, which is right in the middle, and then the next 2 are going to be front post double crochet, and the cabling is coming up next, but we have to do the first one first, so it's a half double crochet, and now we're going to do the cabling. So remember how we do it. So let me show you again. We're going to wrap the hook, skip to the 4th one, which will be this one that is over here. Okay, so skip the 3, just reach over and do the front post double crochet. Okay, wrap the hook again, go for the buddy, which is the next one in line, wrap it again and go for the next one. So now you're going to come back to the very first one that you skipped way over here. So there's 3 here. Come to the first one, just like that. I actually think I dropped a portion of that. I'm going to try again. So just wrap the hook. Okay, and then you move down the line, so grab the next one, and there should be 3. Wrap the hook and then grab the one that you skipped. It gets a little tight in there, but once you understand what you're looking at, it becomes really easy. So then that is your cabling done, and then the next one is a half double crochet, and then your ridges again, and then your cabling effect just like you see. So this is what it kind of looks like now. You can see the twist is starting to happen. Continue that same idea going all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and I'm just finishing up the cable here. Remember, there's still a half double crochet before the slip stitch at this time, and we'll want to finish that and then just join it to the top of the beginning front post double crochet. So as I told you already, if this row intimidated you, don't let that ruin you of this project. This is the hardest row that there is, and it only appears a few more times. Like out of the one of the 5 rows to do the cabling effect, you only have to do this once out of the 5 times of each one of the repeats, and there's not very many repeats. So let's move on and let's go to the next row for this cabling. So coming back to the pattern here, you'll see that it appears to wrap around and then dive back under. This happens on its own. This is the craziest thing about this pattern. That's one thing I love about it. So the next few rounds that we have, rows 2, 3, 4, and 5, the next 4 are going to be doing that effect naturally, and then we are going to introduce number 1 back, which is the one that crosses over just like you did over here. Okay, so don't let that fool you. So on the instructions, what we have here is that we had the crossover happening, which is the first one. Okay, but rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all matching. So you're back to the front post double crochets again right on top of the cabling for several rounds before then you repeat it again to bring back row number 1. So let's begin row number 2 of doing the cabling. So let's begin row number 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it's all the same. So we're going to chain 2. Remember, that does not count as anything, and we're going to start off with doing front post double crochets. We're going to match exactly what is already there. Okay, and the next one is a half double crochet in between, and then here's another set of ridges, and those are going to maintain that one too. Front post double crochets for those, and the next one is a half double crochet here, and now we're here on the cabling. So here's what's kind of confusing about this is that you kind of see that it's doing like a Z shape or a backward Z. It's coming down and then kind of comes back. So we have to capture these in order. So we have to grab, when we do this, we have to grab the right one. So we have to then bend the material back and get the 3 that are in behind first. So let me just do that. So we're gonna get those 3 and front post double crochet those. So I peeled back the one that's overlapping it, and I'm going to do the 3 in a row. Front post double crochet, got one more because there should be 3. Just peeling things back out of the way. Okay, and now these 3 are going to be front post double crochet now too. So what you're going to appear is that the one I'm working on right now is going to appear to go over top of the one that's in behind, that is coming from behind, and it looks like it's sunken underneath and then coming back up. So let's carry on in this pattern. So we're going to half double crochet the next, and we're going to maintain the pattern just like you see it until we get to the next cable, and I'll show you what to do there too. So the next 2 are front post double crochets. The next one is a half, I keep wanting to do a back post, and the next two are front post double crochets, and then the next one is a half, and then we're here at the cabling effect again, and let's just review what we have to do. So we have to get the ones in behind first. Just kind of peel back the work and just get the one, and there should be 3 of those in a row. So 1, once you get the first one, the other 2 are just a matter of peeling it back and seeing it. There's 2, and the third one is there. Just the advantage to this row here is that when we come up to the next rows that we have to do in this repeat pattern is that it's a lot easier to get to these because everything is going to be laying down in front. So if I can just show you. So here, do you see all the pattern? You see all the 6 are in a row, so you're just gonna front post double crochet those without having to peel back in the next rounds. So here we go. The next 3 are front post double crochets. And then that's gonna, the next one is a half double crochet. So continue to do that same idea all the way around, and this is round number 2 of the 5, and I'm going to show you just to repeat round number 3 just to make sure that you've caught on to what I'm showing you. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and I'm doing the last cable before I get to the end, and the last one is a half double crochet before I join it to the top of the front post double crochet that we started with. So that was round number 2 of 5. So number 3, let's begin. We're just going to simply chain up 2, and now number 3 is that we're going to do the exact same thing we did in number 2. The only difference is this time it's easier to access. So we're just maintaining the pattern with these ridges. This is what makes this pattern really quite nice, is that these ridges are kind of like your holidays in between the hard work. So here is your cabling now. So what we're going to do is that you can see all the stitches are now right in front of you. You don't have to peel anything back, and you just maintain it. So it's a front post double crochet for all of the 6. Okay, and no peeling, and this will make the cabling look even sharper. So this is round number 3, and I need you to do this for rounds number 4 and 5 before returning back to number 1 where you have to do the crossover once again. So here's where I'm going to leave you in order to get your cabling done. Now this, remember what I said, is already from rows rounds number 1 through 5. Okay, and basically once you start 1 again, it will do the wicked crossover, and then you're going to do 1 through 5 again. So in this particular pattern, what's gonna happen is that it's gonna tell you to go to a certain height, and you have to refer to the instructions for that. But the final crossover that you see here is actually part of the ending of the hat. Of the final 10 rounds, it's right in the very beginning. It's round number 2. So within this I will tell you that you have to do all this, and then all of a sudden all 10 are then of the final is going all the way to the end. But the reality is that the 10 starts right about here and then carries on to the top. I'll be telling you that instruction as we get to it in this tutorial. So I'm coming up all the way around, and I'm finishing off round number 5 before I start doing the repeat pattern of 1 through 5 again for the next part of the cable. So I just want to reiterate what you need to do. So I just half double crochet and just join to the beginning. So in round number 5 is now done. We're going to start round number 1 again, which will be the crossover of the cables that you see right here. So let's just hypothetically let's just go through it together. So we're gonna maintain the pattern as normal. Okay, I'm still finding myself making an error of doing back post double crochet every now and then, and it does happen, and I don't worry about it too much. So here we go. Here we have the cable here. So this time we need to go do the crossover. So we're gonna skip the first 3 and go into the front post double crochet into the 4th one, and then keep doing its buddies, continuing to move on. And now we're going to get the ones that we missed. So there's 3 of them over here, and let's just start on the first one all the way back, and then the next one, a line, So this is round number 1 of the repeat rounds of 1 through 5. So you can see that the cabling is taking effect, and see how it makes a difference in the look. And then we just jump over here, half double crochet to finish that one off, and then you just maintain the pattern again, and then as soon as you get back to the next cabling here, you do the exact same thing, and it's really not that hard. So what I want you to do is just continue with the pattern. Just use the photograph that's on yarnspirations.com as a guide if you wish, and there is measurements as well, that the round of the hat should be approximately about 6 inches, and you need to end on round number 4. Okay, so don't go all the way to number 5 for the final, and continue to do that, and I'll see you back at the top at that time. So here I am, and I've actually following the instructions for sizing, and because I've substituted the yarn with Bernat Super Value instead of Caron Simply Soft, my stitches are taller than what is in the pattern, so therefore I have to use a measuring tape in order to get it. So I've got it to the height that I need it, but you know, you can honestly see that you really only have 2.5 of these braids here that you see in the cables. So you have to follow the pattern in order to make it work for you, and I'm going to start now showing you how to do the top of this hat. Make sure that you do finish off on round number 4 of the repeat pattern of this, and then we're going to begin. So there's 10 rounds in order to do the finishing off, so it's going to be quite a bit larger, and that's why I want to start it now, because if I keep on going and get my 3.5 plus do that it's going to be one tall hat. So let's begin to do the rounds of the final. So back to our diagram we go, and you can see here, so I've actually got 2 of these and a half, so I actually don't have this section here done, but I've already determined that I still have a way to go in order to get to the top, and now I'm going to start closing it in. Let me show you on the diagram where we are. So back to my diagram, we have to finish off on round number 4. So I already have this marked as number 4 here, and so the first layer here is number 4 that you've already done, and we're going to start off with number 1 and go all the way to 10. And what we're going to notice here is that once you get to the first round, see where the X's are? That's not a stitch, that means to skip. And I put that on there really obvious for myself. And so in the next layer then that's above, there's nothing there because there's no stitch there anymore. So things get narrower and narrower. So if you would actually draw this, it'd look like a triangle, but what I've done is I've done it straight up so that you can clearly understand what's going on in here. So we don't skip all the time, and sometimes we do 2 together front posts and sometimes 3, but overall it's a really quite easy pattern to be able to maintain in order to bring it to a beautiful close. So let's grab our crochet hook and let's give this a whirl. So back to our diagram just really quickly, we're going to start the first round, and we are going to be skipping the middle one of these stitches right here. So the cabling looks here, okay, but the middle one is right in this where the 2 grooves are actually separated. We're going to skip over. So every time we get to these 2 grooves that are side by side right on the pattern right here, we're going to be skipping that middle one. So it's going to appear that after we're done this round that there's only 4 there instead of actually 2 and then half double crochet and 2. So it's actually going to start combining it in, and that's what we're doing on round number 1. So let's begin round number 1. We're going to chain up 2 as always, and the first 2 are going to be front post double crochets. We know how to do that already. And what's going to happen according to our instructions, we're going to skip that middle one that's a half double crochet, and we're just going to jump over and just front post double crochet the next 2. So we've just eliminated 1 stitch right out by doing so. So we're going to carry on and do the pattern as we normally would, and so the next one is then a half double crochet, and then here is your cable work, and those are all going to be front post double crochets. So we're no longer going to do any kind of braiding looks. It's all just front post double crochets, and at this point going right to the end. Okay, so those 6 just became all still front post double crochet, and now we're here. Here's your group of 2 again. So before we do that, we're going to half double crochet first, and now the first 2 are going to be a front post double crochet, and then that 1 half double crochet right in the middle is now gone. So we're just gonna skip right over it and just front post double crochet the next 2, and then carry on doing the same thing. So every time you get into the middle here, we're gonna eliminate 1, so then these 4 plus the 1 become more narrow by just being only 4. Please do that same concept all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and I just got to do my half double crochet to finish off round number 1 of doing the top of the hat. So I'm just gonna join it to the top of the front post double crochet. So let's move up to round number 2. So round number 2 is actually different from what it appears in my diagram that I showed you, and what we have to do is that we have to do the crossovers just like we did down here. Now the remainder of this tutorial is going to show you exactly how to finish off. The only difference right now is that it's gonna have the crossover, but when you see the rest of this tutorial it's not gonna appear here because I've had to go back in this video in order to fix this, but the remainder of the stitch work and the techniques are exactly identical, so you just have to get past that. So we're going to chain up 2 to start, and in round number 2 we're going to start off with the front post double crochets. Now this time there's only going to be 4 in there because in the last round we had to skip over, and after that we have the half double crochet. So we're gonna do our crossover just like we did before. So we just skip over to the third one and do a front post double crochet like we have been doing it before, and we keep doing that until we get our 3 done, and then we come back and get the ones that we missed. Okay, and there's gonna be 3 of those as well. So this is what you already know. You've already seen how to do this before. You already know how to manipulate it. So in this particular portion of this video, this is actually, I've had to go back. I actually finished the project and then I realized I missed this line completely. So I'm just refilming this line just to show you that you need to do it at this point. And then once you get your crisscross done, you start with a half double crochet, and then the front post, there's only gonna be 4 of them there, and they're in a row, so you just continue to do that, and then you do the crisscross again. So when I come back I'll finish up this round. So just be aware that the next portion of this tutorial all the way to the top is going to look slightly different. This is going to be missing out of the top, and the reason for it is that this is an outtake and that I've had to put it back into the video so that you can physically actually see it when you get to the top. Until next time, so as I mentioned before, this is an outtake. I've had to go back and put this in because I went all the way from here all the way to the top without doing that, and it looks not very good, I have to say. I missed it in the instructions, so I'm showing you how to do it once again, and this is for round number 2, and the remainder of the tutorial is perfect. It's just fine. It's just a matter you still have to operate with the stitches, and we'll carry on from that point. So I'm coming up all the way around. I'm just half double crocheting into the final like so. So that concludes off this round, which is round number 2. So round number 3 we're going to start decreasing even more. So we're going to be decreasing, see what the double lines are. This is the cable. We're gonna continue to decrease right in this section here and over here. So we're leaving the cable section alone for now, and then we're gonna continue to decrease right in the cable. So that's coming up in round 3. So let's begin round number 3. We're going to start by chaining 2, which doesn't count as anything as we know. So now there's 4 here, and remember this was where it was doubled, so now there's only 4 here because we've eliminated 2 rows back, and now this time the middle one is going to become 1 with the 2 front post double crochet together. Okay, so every time you see the group of 4, so you're gonna skip right over the cable section, and here's the next one here. Okay, and the middle 2 are going to become together. So let's begin to do that. So the first one will be a front post double crochet, and the next one is going to be 2 together. So we're gonna wrap going into the first post, wrap and pull through 2 and hold. Okay, we have to get the next one before we finish that stitch. So wrap into the next one, pull through 2 and hold. You now have 3 loops on your hook, wrap and pull through all 3. And now that just made these 2 back into 1, and then we're going to front post double crochet the final one of the 4. So in this particular case you have 1 here, these 2 just became 1, and now you have 1 there. So we're gonna carry on in the pattern as normal. So it's just a half double crochet in the next one, and this is the cable work, so it's all gonna be front post double crochet at this point. Okay, no biggie. And my goal is to get you to the other side of this cable, so we're gonna have to put in a half double crochet first, and then you're back on your 4 here. Okay, so then the first one is a front post double crochet, and the next 2 are together. So we wrap going into the first one, pull through 2 and 2 and hold, wrap into the next one, pull through 2 and hold, 3 loops on the hook, wrap and pull through all 3. Those 2 just became 1, and then just front post double crochet the final one, and those 4 just became 3 at this time. So continue to do that same thing all the way around. This is for round number 3. I'm coming up all the way to the conclusion of round number 3, and I'm just half double crocheting in the final, and then just slip stitching to the top of the beginning front post double crochet. So what we're going to do in round number 4, we're going to match exactly what you see. So for example, we have only 3 here now. It went from 4 to 3. So let's just chain up 2. So we're going to front post double crochet the first one. Now these ones are 2 together, so when you go to do this one you have to go around both because they're considered together at this time, and that's a front post double crochet, and then the next one is a front post double crochet, and you maintain the pattern exactly what you see. So the next one is a half double crochet, and the cabling is next, and that's all front post double crochet at this time. So the way that this does a conclusion at the top, it's more even keel. It keeps all the stitches lined up perfectly. All the grooves kind of match up to the hat and synchronize. And coming to this one, this is a half double crochet, and here's the next one here. So these 3, see that you only see 3. So front post double crochet for the first one. The next one, these 2 are considered together. You go around together and front post double crochet the final. Please do that same patterning going all the way around. This is round number 4. So I'm coming up to the conclusion of round number 4, and the last one is a half double crochet, and then I join it to the top of the front post double crochet. So round number 5 is next. In round number 5 we're going to take an even more drastic turn. So in 2 rounds ago we put 2 into 1. Now this one we're going to put all 3 into 1. From going in this section, the cabling we're still leaving alone, but this section here, these 3 are going to become 1. Let's begin to do that, and we're going to chain 2, and it's going to be called the front post double crochet 3 together this time. So we wrap going into the first one, wrap and pull through 2 and hold, wrap going into the next one, pull through 2 and hold, wrap going into the next one, pull through 2 and hold. You should have 4 loops on your hook. Wrap and pull through all 4 loops. Then we begin again. So the next one here is a half double crochet. We don't touch the cables at this time. We keep those going. There will be 6 front post double crochets. We're going to be tackling those, but we're not quite ready yet, not on this round. I like how the designer is getting rid of one element at a time. It makes it a lot easier to follow. So here we go. So these 3 are your next one. Sorry, the half double crochet, don't forget that one. And the 3 are next right here. Those become 1. So just wrap it in, pull through 2 and hold, wrap into the next one, pull through 2 and hold, wrap in, pull through 2 and hold, 4 loops on the hook, wrap, pull through all 4. And then begin again, half double crochet, and etc. Continue that whole round. You're going to notice it's really going to start to pull in now. I'm finishing up round number 5, and we finish off with a half double crochet and then join to the first. Now the first one is going to be all these 3 together, so just don't forget to do that. So now we're going to move on to number 6. So at this time we've been tackling decreasing these coming here, and now we're going to start decreasing some of this cabling down as well in this round. So this time we're going to tackle the cable area. Let's just chain 2, 1 and 2, and what we're going to do, these 3, okay, count as all 1. So we're going to front post double crochet around the 3 of those. Okay, in this particular one, and then we half double crochet. So what we're going to do for this one in the cable areas, we have a total of 6 stitches, and what we're going to do in this one is that the first one is going to be a front post double crochet, same as the last one, and there's 4 in the middle. The first 2 will become 1, 2 double crochet together, and this one will become, and these 2 will become 1. So we're going to eliminate stitches here, so these 6 then become 4. So the first one is a front post double crochet, and the next 2 are going to be together. So front post double crochet 2 together. Okay, we know how to do that already, and so the next 2 are the same thing. So the ones right in the middle are going to be together. and then the final one is going to be one post, front post double crochet. So you see that? So the front post, these two just became one coming together. So there's a total of 4, and then we just maintain the patterning going all the way around. So half double crochet. So here is 3 together. Make sure you go around everything for that, for a front post double crochet, and then half double crochet on the other side, and then you're back on your cables again. So the first one is going to be a front post double crochet. The next 2 are going to be together, and the next 2 are going to be together, and then the last one is a front post double crochet. So then those 4 just or 6 just became 4. Continue that same patterning going all the way around. I'm finishing up round number 6, and we're just gonna put a half double crochet in the final, and then just join it to the top of the first front post double crochet. So that's way over here. Okay, so let's move on to number 7. So number 7 is really quite easy. There's nothing really here to worry about. We just want to maintain the pattern as is. So we're going to chain up 2, and we're going to front post double crochet around the first one, and you're maintaining exactly the pattern. So you're not eliminating anything, you're just giving the pattern an opportunity to relax for a little bit. So these here that you see, you only see 4 stitches at the top, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're just doing a front post double crochet into each one of those. So number 7 is just matching exactly what you see. Okay, so then these are only 4 here, and this is the cable area. The next one is half double crochet. Okay, and then the next one is a front post double crochet, and then you got your cable area once again. So you got a half double crochet in between that, sorry, and then now you have your cable area just like so. The first one is there, front post double crochet. The next one is there. They're together, don't forget. The next 2 are together, and the next one, there you go, front post double crochet. So just continue to maintain exactly what you see on this particular round. We're now finishing up round number 7. It's a half double crochet into the final. So let's move on. I'm just gonna join this to the first front post double crochet. So in round number 8, we're going to start off by chaining 2, and we're going to do 2 things in this particular one for reduction. We're going to skip over anything that is a half double crochet, and we are also going to make these 4 that are in the middle of the cables, we are going to make the 2 in the middle become 1. So let's start. So the first one is going to be a front post double crochet. The next one is a half double crochet, but we're going to skip right over it. We're going to put in a front post double crochet into the next one, which is the one of the 4. The next 2 are together. So the front post double crochet 2 together. It's the middle one of the group of 4, and then the final one on the other side is a front post double crochet. So these 4 just became 3. The next one is a half double crochet, so we're just gonna skip it and just front post double crochet into the next, skip the next half post double crochet. You have your group of 4, and you're going to do the reduction in the middle with the middle 2. So the first one's a front post double crochet, the next 2 are together, and then the final one is just one by itself. So these 4 just became 3, just like you see here, and now we skip over the next half double crochet, we front post the next one, skip over the next half double crochet, and you're back on the 4 again, and eliminate the 2 by making them together. Please do that for all this round. When you get all the way back around, remember we always been finishing with a half double crochet, but we're not going to this time because I told you to eliminate it. So when you get the final together here in the group, you're just going to join it to the beginning of the front post double crochet. And let's move on to round number 9, and we're almost done at this point. See how I was kind of sloppy with that? I just want to kind of pull it a little bit tighter, just like that. That's better. So let's begin round number 9. In round number 9, though it's harder to see, we have our group here, and you can see that you have the double crochet, or front post double crochet, it's by itself, and then a little bit of an indentation. Then you have 3 now. It was all this, and now it's gone down. Then you have a little bit of an indentation and the front post. The reason why I tell you that is that the middle 3 here are going to come together, and we're still going to maintain these ones that are in between these groups. So the ones that are coming up that look by themselves, we're going to maintain those. So let's begin round number 9. So we're going to chain 2, and we're going to front post double crochet the first one, The next one is part of the cabling, and all three of these are going to become together. So just wrap, going in, pull through two and hold, wrap and in. See, and there appears to be two here, but those are together at this time. And then wrap and going into the next one. So there'll be a total of 4 loops. Pull through all 4. And we immediately jump to this next one right here. Do you see how it's indentated in on both sides? That's that middle one. So we want to maintain that as a front post double crochet. And here's your next group here. So they're just going to become together. Okay, like so. And that's 3 together. And then here's your next one right here. So please do that same thing going all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and the last 3 are together just like so, and then we just join it to the top of the first front post double crochet. So that's a pretty tight one there. We've almost got eliminated. We just have one more round to go, round number 10, and then we just have to take the remainder, just drag a darning needle through it and close it off. Round number 10, your final round, we're going to chain 2, doesn't count as anything, and what we need to watch for now is that we still have a front post double crochet. These 3 are now together, and then a front post double crochet, and then 3 together. So we're just gonna maintain this. So front post double crochet the first one, the next 3 are going to be together, so they're already together. So just go around all of it and make that into a front post double crochet, and the next one's front post double crochet by itself. And here's the next group. You see how they've come together? So please do that all the way around. This is round number 10. So I'm coming up all the way around, and I'm just finishing up, and I'm going to show you how to close it off. Now we have tutorials available on how to make pom-poms. You see a pom-pom in there. There's instructions in the written thing, but we also have a tutorial if you need it. Join it to the top of the beginning front post double crochet, and you're still left with a tiny little hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a darning needle and a pair of scissors, and I'm going to show you how to close that off. What I want you to do is grab some string, it's the same string, and just leave it extra long and just trim it. And what I want you to do is just pull this string out like this. So what I want you now is that we have a little tiny hole left in it, and we are just going to use a darning needle and place that string through the eye of the needle. So now what I want you to do is that I want you to trace the stitches and going in, like following this around. Okay, and just continue. I'm just trying to kind of staying under, and I want to get all the way back to the starting point, close to it. There we go. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna pull on it tight, and it should pull it shut like so, and I'm gonna come across diagonally. Across is diagonally the right way, straight across might be the better word. Just making sure I don't stab myself. Coming straight across, and then I'm gonna go in a cross formation, so going across the other direction. I really want that closed off at the top, and then what I want to do is that I want to stick the needle down through the project. Let's try that again. So just kind of down, right down the middle. And what I want to do is that I want to get in from the inside. So let's pull that out. So I'm gonna flip my hat. Huh, that's nice stitches inside too. Okay, and just pulling it up like this, and I'm just pulling it up. And what I want to do is just kind of glide it underneath some fibers, but not coming out to the other side. And I want to kind of tie it on the interior. So now that I think it's tied, I'm just going to run the needle through some fibers at this moment, just gliding it through like that. I can safely trim it, and now I can go back to the very start that I had. Let's flip it the other way. So I had a strand right in the very beginning. Okay, and what I want to do is just kind of tighten it up a little bit and put my little needle on it again. Now the fabric can never stretch in 3 directions at one time, and And what I'm just going to do is that I'm just going to glide it underneath some section, one direction, and I'm going to go back in the other direction for 2, and I'm going to glide it back in the other direction for 3. Okay, so now I can safely cut that out because it's gone in 3 directions, and now my hat is good enough to wear. So this is how you would do a hat. I would probably roll this up at the brim. It's up to you, and however you want to wear it. It looks pretty cool. You could leave it down and make it into a slouchy if you wanted to. You know, the choice is up to you on what you want to do with this hat. So till next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Have a great day, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.